There we go. Cool. All right. So we're on week two. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm excited. We got a lot of good feedback, some interesting feedback over the last week. One of the things was we got a little hate on teams, and that wasn't the goal. I had some people in the comments saying some not nice things about teams, and that's not where we want to go. We're just focusing on our solo businesses. I think there's a place in this real estate business for everybody. So please don't hate on teams in the comments anymore. Um, so how we're working this is we design, we plan, we build, and then we test. One thing that we find as entrepreneurs is we often design, build, test, it breaks, but we didn't get through the whole process, so we give up on it. So what we want to do is really go through the full four steps to make sure something's working before we abandon it or before we implement it. Flying solo, the idea is we're maximizing profit, we're embracing the solo mindset. As an industry, the big coaching companies are all pushing people to teams. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to build the solo business. And ultimately, we're going to work on our systems, build really great systems for success. So, to recap of what we're doing, if you weren't here last week, and then this is where we're going. So, we're week two, we're going to build our business plan. Next week, we're going to talk systems, and then we'll go into marketing. Most agents want to talk about marketing first, but if we build marketing and we attract clients, but we don't have good systems in place, it'll break and we won't have good ways to follow up with those clients. So that's why we're doing client system after we build the business plan. And let's talk about me real fast. For anybody who wasn't here, I have pictures of snacks because I love snacks. I can be lured into a lot of bad places with a Snickers bar. I was licensed in 2007, currently serve as the employing broker for Rio in Colorado. And as a solo agent, I average about 25 to 30 transactions a year. And my focus is really on SOI, geofarm, and agent to agent referrals. That's where I find the most return on investment for myself. Um, and I bring up this like love of snacks and all of that. What I learned in the past 5 or 7 years in the business is there's space for all of us. I'm sarcastic, I'm dry, I like to have fun. And those are the types of clients that I attract now that I've embraced that about myself. I think a lot of us get into the business and we feel like we have to build this one persona and we have to be the super professional or we have to be whatever to fit the business. And I'm here to tell you, just be you. You're going to go attract your clients that want to work with you, that match your personality. If your personality is not to be sarcastic and dry all the time, that's totally cool. You'll find those clients as well. So I really want you as we work through the next 3 or 4 weeks together to really lean into who you are and figure out what your client avatar is so that you can go find those people and serve them. All right. So last week we talked about core values. I asked everybody to put in the WhatsApp chat what their three core values are. And we're going to really use those core values to lean into designing our business plan. We're going to use those as a lens to look through the planning. And the goal ultimately is to build a business that aligns with your goals, strengths, and lifestyle, and not the opposite. So I'm building a business that supports doing all the things I want to do and doesn't bleed into my vacations or my personal time. My business is here to support those financial goals or whatever I have going on. And so as we go through the business plan, we're going to keep referencing that as well with our core values as to why we don't want the business to bleed over. So as a recap, my core values, I'm the friend I want to have, I'm financially fit, and I'm my client's best choice. Every decision I make in my business, I run through that lens to make sure that I'm doing something that aligns with who I am and in my heart and soul. I saw some really good core values. One that really stuck out was Alex. Alex and I obviously are close, Alex Smith, but he said that he wants to provide a financial or a secure financial future for him and his daughters. And so that aligns with the financially fit or making sure that we're using this business as a tool for something else in our life instead of the business taking over our lives. So, this was one of my favorite quotes. If you never know failure, you will never know success. Um, Oftentimes we see agents. or maybe it's just me, but I see agents that seem like they're constantly taking listings, constantly closing deals. And I'm like, if that idiot can do it, I know I can do it. And I'm like, how do they keep having all this success? But certainly they've had some failure behind closed doors. And as we work through the business plan and we work through the next 4 or 5 weeks, there's things that are going to break, and we'll know that those are a failure and we'll know how to fix them, and then it will become a success. So as we get in the nitty gritty, just remember, like, we have to know the failure in order to have that success. Don't let it keep you down for too long. And ultimately, success is personal, but we have to define it for ourselves. We have to define what it means when I wake up every day and say, I'm a successful, whatever, agent, husband, father, friend. What does that mean for you? You're going to define that for yourself. Nobody else's success is going to be your success. So when you figure that out, I took a picture of a beach because I love the beach. That makes me happy. So success for me is a lot of vacations. And now we need to go into our why. I'm sorry, I'm going really fast. We have a lot to cover today. So I picked this gift because like her laugh was like diabolical. And I felt like sometimes in this business, we have to be a little diabolical. So we're going to slow down, take a moment here to talk about why we're doing this. Why did we wake up today and choose to work on our real estate business? Why did we want to be an entrepreneur? Why did we pick real estate over any other job, career, or anything else that we have going on in our life? Um, and when you think about your why, I want you to think about it through the lens of your core values, because that will really help you get deep in your heart about who you are and why you're doing what you're doing. Before we go on, though, the why, it can't be for the money. A lot of people say I got into real estate because of the income. And I'm not I'm not saying you're not good enough if you said your why is the business or if your why is the money for the business, but it can't be the only thing that carries you through, because in reality, there are so many other things we can do. We can go get a regular 9 to 5 job. We can go start a different business. We can go punch a clock somewhere and get money. So the money can't be the only driver to what you have going on in your business, because when things get dicey or uncomfortable, or you hate the day, or you hate your clients, or you hate it, you'll realize that you can get the money through another avenue and go exchange your time for money doing something else. So the why really has to align with your core values. So I'll share with you my ultimate why, and it's freedom. I have freedom from a boss. I don't have to ask for permission to take a lunch break, or I don't have somebody telling me I need to go take my 15-minute break. I don't have to ask for permission to take a vacation or to take a long vacation. Or if you know me for more than 20 minutes, you know that I love a good nap in addition to a snack. So I don't have to ask somebody if I can go take a nap for 20 minutes in the middle of the day if I want to. The freedom to me is worth so much more than anything else that I could get in this business. But the freedom comes with a price. I have to be committed to running this business like a business. I have to do all the things in order to get that freedom in exchange for my time. So the freedom for my core values, when I'm looking through the lens of those core values of being the friend I want to have, I have freedom in this business to go be with a friend if they have something going on in their life and they need some support, or if my friend gets a flat tire and they don't know how to change it, or they're just stuck, I can leave and go help them. The freedom allows me to go do that. The freedom also allows me to be financially fit. We're blessed in this business knowing that we can, if we're going through a season of our life where we're either working to get out of debt, or we want to buy a rental property, or we have to put a kid through college that we weren't expecting to go to my parents never expected me to go to college, so they never saved for it, so it worked out for them. But if something like that happened, we can go work really hard for 60, 90 days, generate a bunch of business, and take care of that debt or whatever that has to do with our financial freedom, which is really great. And then lastly, I'm my client's best choice. And this freedom that this business provides allows me to say no to clients that I don't want to work with or I'm not a good fit. I have the freedom to work with the clients that I want to work with. And I don't have to go report back to the boss and say, hey, we're not getting that account or that listing because I didn't like them. I can go home at the end of the day and be like, that guy, he was a jerk, and I don't have to work with him. Thank God. So when you're thinking about your why, it has to be so much more than the money. And I think most of us as entrepreneurs in this business will come to the realization that it's probably freedom, but it could be other things that this business provides to you. But please just don't let it be the money. Otherwise, you're burning yourself out and you'll go find something else or some other job. Okay, so let's talk about how this whole freedom and everything works with the business plan. So, like I said, I dropped the business plan. This is Sharon's business plan. And the anchor, which is on the back of the page, um, on the lower right-hand side, you're going to have an anchor for your personal life and your professional life. When I wrote my business plan, I just took screenshots out of it, and I'm going to share and be completely transparent with you. So, professionally, my anchor is freedom. Everything I do is driven by that freedom. And then personally, I'm on a path to retire by the time I'm 45. So everything I'm doing and the business plan I'm building follows those two anchors. So really just take some time, spend some time with yourself, figure out what that looks like personally and professionally. But how do we get there now that we know the anchors? So we're going to look at two more things in the business plan, and that's it today. So first thing that you're going to want to do is set your income goal. I don't care what that is. I mean, obviously I do care. I want it to be enough to like pay your bills and have a good life, but you don't have to share that with anybody. That's on you. And from there, you're going to figure out how many transactions it's going to take to get to that goal. If you're new, figure out what the average or median sales price is in your market, figure out what the average commission check is, and then you can figure out what your income goal is. And then the next thing that you really have to dial into is how much time do you want to take off? This is the time off has to be number one so that this business doesn't bleed over into your kid's birthday party or Christmas morning or the weekend that you're going to take off. I'm super committed to my time off. And I have no problem telling people that this is my time off and this can wait or somebody else can deal with this. Most of the time, the emergencies in our business aren't emergencies. And if they're going to a true emergency, they really probably need to call 911, not call their realtor. And that's what I remind myself. Like, this is not an emergency. So for me personally, my time off is 2 months a year. And when I do my prospecting for next year, I'm taking Fridays off from prospecting, maybe not from the business, but for sure from prospecting. So I edited some stuff on the business plan. I'm going to show it to you on the next slide here. But before we roll into the next slide, just have an idea of what your income goal looks like and what your time off looks like. So this is the plan for daily numbers, and this is on the back of the page. It's at the top. There's two like dashboards or transaction goals. This is transaction goal worksheet number one. So what I worked out here was for my income goal, I need to do 40 transactions next year. And then from there, you move to line two. And line two says multiply line one by 40. That's the average conversion rate in the industry. If your conversion rate's better, you can figure that out. Or if it's worse, you can also change that up too, but we'll just go with average. So 40 times 40 is 1,600. That's how many new prospects I need to come up with over the next year in order to meet my transaction goal. So that seems like a lot, and it is. And then we're going to break it down by the month. So line three is to divide line two by 11, but you'll see I crossed that out and made it 10. I don't want to work more than 10 months next year. I want 2 months off. So I need to get everything done in 10 months' time. So that's why I divided it by 10. So I need 160 new prospects a month. And then line four says divide line three by 20, but that's for 5 working days a month because 5 working days times 4 weeks comes out to 20. I only want to do 4 days of prospecting. So I changed my number from 20 to 16. So I divided 160 by 16 and I came up with 10. So now I have an actionable number. And this at first doesn't seem that bad. I'll be honest with you. 10, 10 conversations a day. Um, that's totally doable. But I really want you to think deep about what a conversation with a new prospect looks like. It's not just an email, it's not just a text message, it's not just a voicemail. It's probably a it's not probably, it's a real conversation that takes time and it's probably between 15 and 20 minutes. So let's say it's an average of 10 minutes each. So I have to have 10 conversations a day that are at least 10 minutes long, usually. So that's just over an hour and a half every day that I have to be committed to prospecting in order to hit my goal. So you have to be really honest with yourself if that's achievable and if you're willing to be committed to doing it. So that's why we're not going to do this all together. Like you've got to really dive deep and make sure that you're committed to that goal. So let's talk about what doesn't support our goals. So when we are solo agents, we have a limited amount of time every day to make sure that we get our prospecting done, get our marketing done, make sure we service the clients that we have, make sure that everything else that we have to do gets done. So we have to really think about where we're spending our time. So things that don't support our goals are manual processes in our CRM that we could automate. The second one I'm super guilty of, doom scrolling on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all under the guise of research because we're trying to figure out what content strategy we're going to do. Usually, by the time you get done scrolling, well, you can never be done scrolling Instagram, let's be honest. But when you decide to be done, you've wasted 2 or 3 hours of your day that could have been committed to prospecting and getting those 10 conversations done. So I challenge you not to lie to yourself that you are doing research because we're not doing research, we're just wasting time. And then the other thing is attending every happy hour or training or meeting or whatever that doesn't actually have impact on your business or a chance to connect with people. Right now, I mean, with this time of year, everybody's going to some sort of happy hour, it seems. And as agents, most agents are going to happy hour from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day somewhere. And that doesn't align with ultimately our goals, right? So when you're building out your week, your time off, your months, really pay attention to where you're committing to spending time with people or doing activities that don't support the business and ultimately don't lead you back to your why. If I'm going to happy hour with a lender that I'm never going to work with, but I'm just going because they're going to buy me cocktails, that doesn't give me the freedom to have financial freedom or be the friend that I want to have. Or if I'm going to these lunches or lunch and learns about topics that I don't care about, it's just a waste of time. So really, as you build that life, make sure that you or build your plan, make sure that you're looking at everything through the lens of your core values and your why. And if it doesn't align, it's totally okay to say no. We only have so much time every day. So with that, let's talk about our habits. So my friend Alex Yu, I don't know if he's on, I don't think he's on, but he's building a really big team in Orange County, and I admire this guy. He's the guy that anybody could call right now from this call and be like, "Hey, bro, I need $100 and he would just Venmo you. He's that person. He's just really good. And so he said this to me on Sunday morning. He just said, "A habit missed once is a mistake, but a habit missed twice is the beginning of a new and most likely bad habit." I don't know if he came up with that on his own or not, but that's what he texts me to tell me to get my mind right, and get my act together. And I wanted to share it because on the business plan, there's a section called My Commitments. And I'll go over what my commitments are in a moment. But when you miss your commitment once, okay, fine, it's a mistake. But when you miss that commitment a second time, you're recommitting to a lesser quality life or business plan. And you have to be able to recognize that within yourself and make the correction so that you don't form a new habit that's worse. So here are my commitments. Again, this is at the bottom, and you'll see that there's a D, W, and an M. And D is daily, W is weekly, and is monthly. And this is how you're going to make your commitments, if they're going to be a daily, weekly, or monthly commitment. And there's no right or wrong answer on this. You can add to it. If you only want to do four, that's totally cool. But my commitments to myself and my business on a daily is 10 conversations. I'm going to drink a gallon of water every day. I'm going to take my dog Lucy on a walk every day. That's good for me mentally. It's good for my dog physically. Well, both of us physically. And I leave my phone at home for those walks because it gives me some time to really reflect on who I am, what I'm working towards. And And when you're not head down in your phone on a walk, you start to notice the other things around you. And this sounds really woo-woo, but I promise you, if you can leave your phone at home, go for a 30-minute walk, your mind will be so much clearer when you come back and you want to recommit to your business. Next for me, weekly is a marketing activity, which is email sprinkler, which we've learned from Sharon. It's a deal of the week, a market update, and a personal story. Every week that goes out to an entire database. I'm recommitting to that to make sure that I hit that goal because I know when I have 10 conversations a day with new prospects and I have my email marketing in place, my life is set. And then lastly, I'm doing a monthly focus review preview. On the business plan, there's a monthly focus area. We're not going to get into it, but what you do in that monthly focus area is fill in every month what your focus is going to be. It can be a few things, one thing, whatever you want it to be. But I'm going to be at the end of every month, I'm going to make sure that I completed all my tasks that I need to get done for that month, and then be looking into next month to make sure everything is calendared and scheduled that I need to get done so that I can hit my goals. So when I'm doing that monthly preview and review, I need to make sure that I'm looking at through the lens. If it doesn't help me generate leads, increase my service level in the clients, streamline or scale my business, or bring me joy, I'm not doing it. So everything I'm doing is just to make sure I'm servicing my business properly and making myself happy because when I'm happy, I serve my clients well and I serve my family well. So just make sure when you build that monthly focus area that when you're filling it out, if you're like, I should do a client event, but I don't really want to do a client event, don't put it down because you're going to hate doing it. It's not going to bring you joy. You're going to half-ass it. It's not going to be worth it. So really be honest with yourself when you're doing this plan. Okay. So we got done. We have 5 minutes for Q&A. Um, Again, I dropped the business plan in the WhatsApp channel. If you're not in the WhatsApp channel, you can scan the QR code and you'll be able to complete that. If you haven't done your core values, I would do that first so that you are filling out your business plan through the lens of the core values and who you want to be and your why. And then also let's get our Q1 tasks done for the monthly focus areas. Make sure that you really have you do a deep dive on that and make sure that you're really committed and clear on what Q1 is going to look like for you in 2025. Okay. Andy, do you have questions since you're in charge here? Andy's muted.
I'm
Oh,
not
there he is.
not sorry, let me just check back here once more. Hear that?
Lots of WhatsApp here. So I see that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if you have questions, if you want to unmute,
David,
David,
I
the only
see.
other question
Oh,
we have, can you
yeah.
talk more about the weekly email
yeah,
and deal
absolutely.
of the week?
Yeah, we can. We'll talk about that in the marketing portion, but we can go over it quickly since we have a little bit of time. So, the way that my email sprinkler works, so deal of the week goes out on Wednesdays, and all I'm doing is sending a text only email of something that's a good deal. It has to be a good deal in my heart. So I prioritize my listings, send that out as a deal, and it's just 3 or 4 bullet points. You can do about the house, about the property, about the neighborhood, whatever. Sharon is going to be sharing an AI tool for us to write your deal of the week if you want to use that. Um, it hasn't released yet. Market update. We have a title company in Denver. She writes a really in-depth market update, which is really, really good, but it's way overwhelming. So what I do is I pick 3 or 4 highlights from the market update, and then I write why that is an important topic or data point and how it affects home buyers or home sellers in the Denver market. I don't just send out something that's like 100 new listings, 10 under contracts and nothing sold because nobody cares. Nobody knows what that means. But if you look at the data and you say, okay, we had, X number of new listings and we had X number of new pendings and our new pendings is up, that means that there's more buyers entering the market. So I'll bring that data point forward and explain why more buyers in the market matters to them. So that's what they care about. And then lastly, personal story. I have examples of a personal story that we're going to share. This one is the most impactful because this is what humanizes you with people that you know and don't know. So often I'll share something that happened to me, something that I witnessed. At the beginning of the year when inflation was really rough, Christine shared a story about giving permission to chill out. Like if your family can't afford to go out to dinner every night, that's totally cool. If they can't afford to upgrade their home right now, that's totally cool. And when you start to identify with the struggles that people are having or what's happening in the world, and you connect on that level, people want to do business with you. So that's how I run that weekly email system. And oftentimes, being straightforward, I just copy Christine. You should get on her email list and just copy and paste hers.
You
Um,
are so funny, David. Everybody thought this was insanely awesome. Um, some people said that they had issues with the QR code, but I told them that you will send an email out on how to join the WhatsApp group. The replay will be in the WhatsApp group. If you missed last week, the WhatsApp group has that replay. And David will also send an email out to everybody, recapping all of the materials with the replay. That was the biggest question in the comments. People want access to the business plan and the replay.
yeah, absolutely. Keeping it at 29 minutes, we'll get it all sent out. I love that Christine's like my boss right now. So thank you, Christine, for keeping me on task. And
And David, just quickly, 10 seconds. What is our homework?
homework is complete the one-page business plan and prioritize your first quarter tasks. And if you haven't figured out your core values, figure those out first, post them in the WhatsApp group. Let's start building some community together and supporting each other so that we can really have an amazing 2025 together. And we are at 29 minutes. The email will be out by the end of today or tomorrow latest. And if you have any questions or anything, just find us on WhatsApp. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.